Hey, y'all. Hey, Giggle Glimmer. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm like a ball of nerves and emotion. Hey, Lachey. Hey, guys all. Hey. Aw. Hi. I'm gonna try not to like my emotions are like right here. So I'm trying to be, cool kid, you know? But y'all had me so extra emotional reading those comments. I don't know. I guess it's cause like that was such like a huge with your voice. That was such a huge step for me. But it's like I feel emotional right now. Hey, Boricua. I feel emotional right now because it feels like and I'm about to cry. Dag nabbit. It feels like freedom. Like it feels like liberating. You know? I'm still gonna cry. Hey, Star, my bestie's in here, y'all. Hey, Candy. Not too much, Lachey. I'm just sitting up here crying, didn't get no tissue and nothing, Jesus. Oh, man. I'm so emotional. Like, a lot, but in a good way. Like, it's not, like, sad. Hey, SBK. It's not sad. It's liberating and beautiful, to be quite honest. Man. Oh, that's an interesting question there. Hopefully they did not pass that law in your state yet. Oh, man. Oh, dude, this has been a day. I did not breathe, but like once I pressed post on that video, it's like I just put my phone down and I was like, For those of you who don't know, while we're here, I posted a video probably about an hour or so ago. And thank you, Joe. And I decided to go live to kind of connect with you guys, to give you guys the opportunity to ask me any questions that y'all might have had. So if you ended up clicking on here, I'm not picking cards, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh man. But it's been a crazy day. Just from the overwhelming acceptance and support that I've gotten. Aw, thank you, goddess. It's been something. How did you get so in tune into your spirituality? Quick and easy question I can answer is pushing into it. It's like when we get intuitive hits a lot of times, and being a woman, we'll be like, oh, women's intuition, or, we'll hear something or feel something and then it happens and we just kind of like play it off. And what I started doing was pushing into it. And the thing that really started increasing my gifts was when I started my Reiki certification path. When I got my first attunement in Reiki 1, it's like my gifts just went bananas after that. But to be quite honest, I'm a Taurus. But to be quite honest, it's the more you push into it and the more that you align with your truth is the more heightened that your gifts get. Natasha, you're right. It feels beautiful, man. I haven't felt like this like in years because it feels limitless. When you were gonna address the matter considering. Man, I think all of this is like in divine timing though, man. It's like I didn't really know what was going on. And then, you know, usually with my readings, which is funny, I usually don't resonate with my own readings because y'all know I'm extra single. But it's like as I was editing the Taurus video, because it's like I'm not consciously paying attention to what I'm saying when I'm doing readings. Like how it sounds to me doing them, it sounds so completely out of sorts. But when I went back and I'm listening to that one as I was editing, like I felt like hella convicted. I was like, what are all these things I'm feeling? And I'm looking and I was like, wait a minute. Let me find out. I just read me. Oh man. Do you know about Akashic record readings? DNA probably? Yes, I do. That's interesting. That has a lot to do with human design. And that's the thing, man. Like the reason why this is so beautiful to me, because something that all of my clients get to benefit from is just the myriad of different areas that I know, like that I've studied, right? From different religions to ancient texts and so on and so forth. And it makes me happy to be able to share that with you guys. Oh, thank you, Mary. How can we get away? Oh, just hit me up. Aw, thank you, a non-kiddo. Yeah, man. And that's something I encourage. Has doing tarot and being a therapist. Oh, wait. Gone hand in hand. Yes, it has, believe it or not. The thing that's so strange is as my path like got into my older age, it's almost like spirit tying loose ends. I was always a person where I moved around from job to job. It was a myriad of different things that I did. I would go to college for this and then for that. And my path didn't get more on track until like later in life. That's because all my 12th house placements, like myself, was hidden from myself for most of my life. So, but everything that I thought that was like a misstep or like these skills aren't going to come in handy, they all ended up tying up in the end. So the irony is the way that my gift works, it's like I discern themes and things. So it doesn't matter what it is or what subject or discipline it is. It's like I hear the words behind the words. And me knowing tarot and then knowing psychology, I found that these are speaking the same themes. Hey, Solar Spirit. I found that they were speaking the same rhythm behind the system. And then that's when I just started kind of matching things up. And pretty much with every single discipline that I've learned, I've found an interconnection between all of them. What are your thoughts on the fast growth of spirituality? How do we discern readers who are jumping on the bandwagon only because they see it as a trend and want to monetize on it versus true light workers? Well, that is a really great question. So here's the thing. Having worked in marketing, yes, spirituality is at the top of the list because every year, giving you guys a heads up, every year at the end of the year, marketing trend reports come out. And this was probably 2 years ago that wellness was on the rise, like fitness and wellness and like the whole clean eating vegan type of thing. And then spirituality was the next wave. So what happens with stuff like that is they'll take something that's kind of taboo, commercialize it, put it in the forefront. And it may be something that some people felt led to, had an inclination to, and then it blows up, right? And then because it's like subconsciously the message is sent to us over and over, we kind of take the suggestion as a thought, and it's like we jump on the bandwagon. So it's not just with spirituality, it's literally with a myriad of different things that happens, right? So the whole thing is with your discernment. Discernment is something that we have that's apart from any discipline that we practice or participate in, right? So since I can say Bible now, if you look at the scripture that says test the spirit by the spirit that you're testing by is unconditional love, or the highest vibe emotions. So anything that doesn't provoke fear, anything that doesn't make you feel less than, or because it's a difference between feeling conviction, like if a person speaks truth over you and you like, ooh, I do be doing that. That's different than walking away from something and feeling hopeless, downtrodden, like there is no hope, I'm screwed, you know, my whole situation is screwed up. That's the most simplest way that I could put it without getting too metaphysical with it. You know what I mean? So it's testing the spirit by the spirit and what it is that it provokes in your spirit, man. Because I always joke about, like, you know, my ugly face. It's like whenever something doesn't resonate with me, I'm like, stink face, you know? So it's different ways that we have that we respond, and then getting in tune with yourself of what your signs are when something is in alignment. Because like for me, that's my heart chakra. Whenever someone is speaking from like high vibe, my heart chakra feels like a flame was set in my chest. So it's getting accustomed to those little nuggets that you get. I feel like somebody asked something. Oh, thank you, Giggle. Oh, yeah, man. That's my only thing, is wanting to marry all of this without limitations, Jill. Do you feel like the movement towards 5D is opening spiritual realms for a lot of people? Absolutely. It's almost like being ushered in, but everybody's in different waves, you know? And that's why I say it's like everything is always on time. Don't ever try to force your path, because every person is exactly where it is that they need to be at this present moment. It's like you can't miss the boat, you know? What comes out at the end of the year every year again? Sorry. Did I say that? Oh, marketing trend report. Why you don't use your natural? This is my natural hair. It's just flat ironed. Does a twin flame mirror a person? That's an interesting question. Technically, yes, and so does everything else in our reality. Everything mirrors you. Everything that exists outside of you first existed inside of you. And until we start to do the personal work, we will continuously project our shadow onto other people. That's what the mirror effect is really about, which is another thing with my book. My book is another one of those things that's very, very censored. There's so much that I took out of my book that should be in there. But that's one of the things with the mirror effect, is the mirror effect is bigger than just twin flames. And twin flames are bigger than what many of us know them to be. But in essence, the mirror effect is occurring all day, all the time. Hey, Joy Kimberly, I know you from IG. Readings have talked a lot about patience. We Leos have none. This has been difficult. Dude, Mama Mia, I feel you, because I am a Taurus. Patience is not my strong suit either. But you got to take little steps every day, like waiting in the line at Walmart and not complaining. It's baby steps, you know? Oh, man. Let's see. So this is why you're changing your channel and a few others. I'm ready for issues of connection and to believe outside of myself. I wouldn't say changing too much, because I know a couple of the questions that I got is like, are you still going to read cards? Yeah, I'm still going to read cards. But it's like, I just feel a personal responsibility, because just with this being a platform and me speaking to so many people, right? And what I know about, you know, and this is me going into psych theory and stuff, it's just influence and all of that stuff. I feel it's my personal responsibility to not just disclaimer, but it's more or less teaching how things should be used properly. And the thing that I say about that is there's nothing wrong with, and that's why I stress that in my letter, is like, there's nothing wrong with tarot, right? Just like there's nothing wrong with guns, right? But it's how you use it, right? That's not like a pro-gun message or anything, but it's just saying it's all about how you use the tool and whose hand it's in. And that's the thing that I feel like is really important to kind of drive home, right? So it's not saying like, don't watch tarot videos or anything like that. Nah, it's just, I feel for my path, my personal responsibility is more or less being more clear on how I use it. Not to say that we won't still do like, little fun readings and things of the sort, but it's just, I know that my purpose is in teaching people to live their best life. But of course, that's a holistic life. So that's like your spiritual life, your health, your work life, your family, your kids, your relationships. It encapsulates all of that. So it's more or less how I approach my practice in real life and wanting to integrate that into what I'm doing here on YouTube as well. But that true self-connection, man, that's what it's all about. Because we will continue to be lost in life until we get that rock, that core, and that anchor within ourselves. Because other than that, it's like we're just running in circles. Arthur Rosen. Why does that sound familiar? Would you say tarot cards are training wheels to... Oh, dang it, where'd it go? To open your spiritual door? It can be. It can be. Because I know for me, it's like I was introduced to tarot when I was younger, like when I was like 12. But for me, it started with a particular oracle deck that I got. And this is when I'm like heavily studying the Bible. And it was certain things, like certain scriptures I would read. And I'm like, I understand what this is saying, but I'm like, I need a more like, 2012 version of this, right? And it was certain experiences that I was having where I couldn't find a reference for it. But I'm like, I'm experiencing it, so I know it's real, but I didn't know what to call it. One of those things is the Dark Night of the Soul. And I remember in this particular deck, I got the Dark Night of the Soul card and I was reading it and I was like, that's what that is. And in essence, that's what it is. Like biblically speaking, what Elijah went through after, this whole big battle with Jezebel and all that kind of stuff. But that's like similar to the depression that he was going through. So that's when I saw, I was like, oh my gosh, the two are explaining each other. So it's like I started using oracle cards to help me understand scripture, right? And it just kind of grew from there. So, I mean, with each person is different. Like I was influenced to go back into Christianity because of my studying Buddhism. Because it's me studying Buddhism and someone posted a scripture on Facebook and I was like, let me go dust off the Bible and see what that's about. And from reading that scripture, I had an epiphany of like, oh my gosh, everyone has it all wrong. Like this isn't this isn't that. And that's what ended up leading me back into church. So for each person, I feel it's different. Is there a foolproof way to connect with spirit? Foolproof. Foolproof. I would probably, I couldn't even say that. I couldn't say it's a foolproof. I think there's a foolproof way for each individual, but it's more or less coming into the awakening of it. And that's kind of like a spark that's set off, but it's not something you can force. And the thing that I wanted to say was like meditation, but you could say that, but I think everyone has their very own unique way of connecting to it. And I wouldn't want to put a label on that to limit, Whoa, the chat just jumped. How are our paths so similar? Oh, hi, that's awesome. What is the Dark Night of Soul exactly? It's when, like the video, I don't know if y'all follow me on Instagram, but it's like the video that I posted today from Jay Versace. That would be the beginning of that. It's when you start to feel this dissension with life and you're kind of looking around at everything and it's like a mini existential crisis. Like, who am I? What is life? What is this all for? What does it all mean? You know what I mean? What is truth? Like, what is life? So it starts kind of like that. And then it becomes like, I call it like a soul depression. It's like a darkness where it's hard to even describe, man. it's a darkness, but it's a different darkness than like you think of like if you suffer with depression, it's entirely different. Like this darkness is like bleak. You know what I mean? Like hands in front of my face, I can't see it type of bleak. Grizzly too, I'm nothing but respectful. Oh, Grizzly, wait. Sorry, guys, slow supply. I dropped everything. Oh, that's beautiful. It's my boy Danny right there. Yeah, dude. I was just one of my homeboys is going to Spain, and I was showing him your trip, and he was like, "Oh, connect with us through the use of the word." I'm a Capricorn, Sun, Taurus, Moon, rising, returning into my emotions. Any advice on how to deal with and acknowledge my emotions better? Man, just speaking to them. I make my clients use a chart. Hey, Michelle, I make my clients use a chart. Like we have an emotional chart. And whenever they don't use emotional language, I'm like, chart, point to your chart. And they're like, right? Getting an emotional vocabulary first is helpful with expressing emotions, but it starts with vulnerability within the self. A lot of times that's a mindset or a core belief that was conditioned into us that it wasn't okay to express emotions, so it feels unnatural. But like I say, the same thing with your intuition, the whole key is pushing through. It's like pushing into things. Just like with me today, it's like my pattern, I feel fear. It's like, let's make a U-turn. Let's not do that, right? But it's like today I made the decision to push through the fear, to do it scared, to feel the anxiety. You know what I mean? And on the other end of it, and I could say here, it's totally worth it. Oh, thank you, Kristen. Is it possible to feel the transit of the planets? Heck, yes, it is. Dagnabbit. I kind of stopped letting things. Oh, that's awesome. That makes me happy. Yeah, dude. And I meant to comment it before I legitimately describe why I stopped posting. Oh, yeah. I love this. Thank you, Stephanie. Hey, Diamond. I'm a Taurus, Sun, Cancer, Moon, Leo, rising Venus, and Taurus. How can I break away from karmic relationships? It's toxic. I stepped away, but I want to break away. Help. Man, you got to make a decision to do it. I say that's the same because I look at relationships, emotional addictions, the same way that I would as a regular addiction. It's like it's making the decision to break away, but energetically it's harder because that person does not have dominion over you. You have dominion over you. But until you connect with the mindset and core beliefs that are allowing for that attachment to exist, it's like it's that energy connection is still going to remain there. And it's like I could say a blanket statement because, we'll say, oh, self-love and self-worth is when you release situations like that. But the truth is learning the lesson. But the lesson has more to do with us and our core beliefs and what it is that's bringing out of us. Princess makes a determination based on need. Oh. Ooh. For helping me even through. Oh, I missed something. What is going on with this chat? It's moving so quickly. Thank you, CBL. Oh, I love your face. Yes, they do, R. Jones. I'm so used to just being watching my sign that I forgot for a second. This is live. Milky. Oh, thank you. Y'all, I feel like I'm looking at extra ratchet right now. How can you discern a witch without any tools? It depends on what the definition of a witch is. I feel like the revelation I got on that, man, but it depends on what the definition of a witch is, Run for the hills and never look back. Run for the hills and never look back. You're helping a lot of us. Aw, your advices have helped me through. Oh man, Kristen, that means the world to me. Do you believe in time travel? I believe it's possible. It's possible people could be doing it now. How do I get a personal reading? I'm about to get that together, y'all. I'm working on my website because I'm trying to get a system together, and that's a part of all of this too. The reason why I fell back on doing personal readings is a lot of what I talked about today, because I was like, and this is like in December, like when I did that sale, and I'm like, legit, I think by the end of it, I was so drained, and I'm like crying between readings and stuff, because a lot of the stuff that a lot of questions and stuff that were being asked, it was like breaking my soul, because I was just like, dog, you know what I'm saying? It was so much I wanted to contribute, and it's a feeling that I kept feeling, because even sometimes in the readings when stuff comes up, and I know it was someone's comment I saw where they said she's a Leo, and she was saying, I could tell that you were holding back, but I didn't know what. And I was like, dog, that's because sometimes I look at these cards and it's so much that's coming up that I want to say, but I'm like, nope, that's a trigger word. Nope, that's going to make people upset. Oop, don't say that. And it's constantly in my mind. The pauses in between me describing cards is me filtering everything that's about to come out of my mouth so I don't offend anyone. That's literally what those pauses in between were. And it's like, I felt I wanted to help on so much of a deeper scale. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's like I fell back where I only was doing like a little bit at a time. North node and south node. Oh man, I had just wrote down some stuff on that the other day. What did I do with it is the question. I was just writing about that the other day. Whoa, what's that? Is this it? Oh yeah, this is it. Or is this just north node? North node, you're now you're now leaving something. Oh, you're now learning something new. So your north node, wherever the placement is you're learning something new about your destiny, where you're going, what you're developing, that you will carry forward. It's your legacy. That's what I just wrote down yesterday about the north node. So what it really is your south node is what you come into this life with, right? So natural inclination. So like for me, my south node is in Libra. So my natural inclination is codependency and relationships, right? So that's something I brought into this life from past incarnations, right? So presently, my north node is in Aries. So the challenge for me this life is to be self-reliant, to stand on my own 2 feet, to not wait for other people to give me the okay go, and to step forward and do it of my own volition, which is hard as hell. This is one of these Aries North Node experiences I'm going through right now. It's not easy, man. But it's all about what you come in with. And if any of the stuff you come in with your South Node is like negative, that's what you would want to work on. And then your North Node is what you're trying to align with in this life that's going to create your legacy and that you're going to carry forward into the next incarnation. Ooh, it jumped again. Ooh, Lurdy. Hold on. I'm so lit, but I already know our spiritual side connects. Something serious, but we have to talk about how we feel. I'm going through some deep-rooted issues as well. It's destined. I know I'm from. Yeah, dude. My South Node is in Virgo, and my North Node is in Pisces. See, these are the things right here, y'all. This is the stuff that give me life. Yeah, like this is the kind of stuff that I want to talk about. Look, dude. When I tell you your birth chart, son, your birth chart, okay? Your birth chart is life, okay? It's so much stuff in your birth chart. And, you know, how I learn things and make things make sense to me is I say it in a very, like a story kind of format. And that's like the stuff that I do to help kind of understand these things, like to put it in more, you know, understandable language. I am by no means an astrologer. I ain't nowhere close. I considered it when I saw how much information lies in these planets' placements in the individual birth chart and just the planets within themselves. I was compelled. But then when I found out they had a whole PhD in astrology, I said, oh, no, babe. It's like, I know I didn't learn psychology overnight, so I ain't going to try to learn y'all stuff overnight, you know. Just play around, you know. How does one become a moderator? Oh, my gosh. Why are you not a moderator is the question. My friend. Let's see. Add moderator. There we go. Do you believe that you have to be baptized? That's a good question. That's another one of those things that's symbolic. You know, it's another one of those things that's symbolic, like kind of how I talked about, it's kind of one of those things that I talked about in my letter. It's something that's symbolic. It's a physical posture that we're taking, and it symbolizes a spiritual state, or like a crossroads or a threshold that we're crossing spiritually, you know. What was the greatest impact becoming spiritual? Wait, where'd it go? Becoming spiritual has had on you along your journey. Hey, Xavier, what was the greatest impact being spiritual has had? Well, I would say it makes life make more sense. That's literally what I would say. It makes life make more sense, because both when I was like, because you hit different plateaus, and the thing I think is so beautiful about this dude, and this is kind of like what we're all going through right now. Over time, you start to realize that life is very cyclical, right? So it's like Wheel of Fortune, World Card, Fool. We're just going around and around. But it's different levels of awareness that you gain. And the way that Spirit showed me this was literally, I had a dream. I was standing on my street, and my fist was in front of my face like this, and one eye is closed, and I'm like looking like this. And Spirit's like, what you see? And I'm like, nothing. Spirit's like, what you see? I'm like, nothing. And Spirit's like, open your hand a little. So I opened it a little. What do you see? A tree. Open it a little more. What do you see? Okay, I see, you know, grass, you know. And each time I opened it, I saw more and more stuff. Spirit said, that's what it's like when you're awakening. You're not moving, right? You're not seeing anything different. It's just you're getting a bigger vision of what's always been in front of you. So your vision gets clearer and clearer over time. So I would say the biggest benefit is that it's the clear sight. It's being able to not get so angry at people, right? To have compassion for other people, to empathize what another person is going through, right? To not have pity parties for myself, because I can understand, even though my experience is valued, right? I have done some stuff through some tough stuff in my life, but they got people who have been through worse. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to sit up here and say, well, you ain't never had this happen to you? You know what I'm saying? And you start losing the need to judge, or for me to be like, to make you wrong in order for me to be right. You know what I mean? It's like you can release control over so much. You stop feeling like you're defending or proving yourself. You stop being afraid of people stealing from you, or a myriad of different things. And you can kind of just flow with life and really enjoy things, right? We're always going to end up bumping up against stuff that's a challenge. But the beautiful thing about the journey is the awareness when a lesson comes around again, and you can overstand it. You know what I'm saying? You can look at it objectively from the director's chair of life, and you're like, I see what's happening right there. And guess what? I learned my lesson last time. We're Gucci. Moving right along, sir and or madam. So I would say that's probably the most dopest part of it. North Node and Libra, South Node. Oh, cool. I feel like most people, oh, dang, why is it moving so fast? I feel like most people don't take my advice or wisdom seriously. If I bring in the spiritual aspect of my understanding, how can I keep them separate when psychology and spirituality are so connected? You want to know something funny, Amy, which I think is hilarious about the word soulology, is because psyche is the Greek word for soul. So technically psychology is the study of the soul, but it's not the study of the soul at all. It's the study of the mind. Just saying. Did someone just Oh, wait. Thank you. Super chat. Who is that? Oh my gosh. I don't even. It's my mail bell. Thank you, baby girl. I hope you got my P.O. box now. But yeah, man, the thing is, I feel you on that because I find I have to deal with that too. You know, it's like whenever I'm in a professional setting, you have to kind of know your audience and who you're talking to. But that's why I love transpersonal psychology, because, you know, that's psychology and spirituality buried. And studying in that area, it helps you out a lot because it's giving you the scientific verbiage. And then on top of that, I practice Gestalt therapy, and like literally Fritz Perls is known as the mystic, you know, and it's hard to prove a lot of his theories empirically, you know what I'm saying? But and in Gestalt therapy, a lot of mindfulness language is normal. But I understand how difficult that is. It's just knowing your audience is the most important. And what I've found is like synonyms are very helpful. Finding different case studies or yeah, case studies help me probably a lot. Finding different case studies and research that's been done, and it's kind of discerning that theme in the research and or using something as a narrative. A lot of that can be found in systems theory, believe it or not, like what is it, cybernetics and things of the sort. Astrophysics and cybernetics always help to give you a more scientific explanation of spiritual concepts when you're talking psychology. I hope that helps. Gucci Gucci. Hey, Chinese taco. Do you know anything about the rapture? I do. I know a lot about the rapture in two different aspects. How do you know you had a gift? Actually, at first I didn't. I had no idea. I have dreams of things and they be of people around me, and sometimes of being pregnant or even, ooh, yeah. I was a dreamer. That's how all of my gifts started. Chinese taco. All of my gifts started with dreams. My entire like path it happened through dreams. Like I catalog all of them. And I started dreaming when I was a kid, but it's like my dreams have always been like what I think YouTube is now. That's kind of like what my dreams were to me. So it was always me on this quest of like getting all these different dream dictionaries and looking at stuff. And what I had to learn was you have to coach and train yourself on knowing the difference, because you can have prophetic dreams where it's a dream about something before it happens, right? And it's a difference because I know like for me, it's in different colors. When I have a foresight dream about myself, it looks different than a foresight dream I have about someone else, right? And I don't really have like dreams where it's like what do you call it? Like, you know how you have those scatterbrain dreams? I don't really have those like talking about it. Oh yeah, Amy, I'm glad that helped. But I don't really have those. It's like whenever I dream something like these days, I know it's for a reason. But you got to kind of train yourself. And that's what a lot of it is, kind of like starting your own dictionary or catalog about, I don't know why I'm looking at y'all questions like I'm talking to y'all faces. But a lot of it is about starting your own catalog on how you receive your intuitive hits, or if, you know, something that you sense actually came to pass. Like, did you feel it in your body? Was it a voice that you heard? So you can start to get more familiar with how it is that spirit speaks to you. Because for each one of us, it's different. And it's the same with your dreams as well. How do we book you for therapy? I am working on that. I have to get, I'm taking a class, it's a certification course I have to do for my state licensing board in order to do that. And then trying to get all this insurance stuff together, because I'm trying to set it up to where when we're doing online therapy, you would be able to, you know, pay with your insurance and just do your copay. Cybernetics and mindfulness. Oh my gosh, cybernetics is the jam. Hashtag Gregory Bateson. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, man. Because it's some dreams that come back to me years later. I do private readings. Getting all that together. I'm redoing my site. I was trying to finish my practice site first, and right now I'm dealing. My whole booking system is malfunctioning right now. Grizzly by journaling. Oh, I don't know why I feel like that should be a book or something. Journaling by Grizzly. Princess India, how can I tell if my person is my twin flame? Are there any tips? Man, the thing that I would say is that you would know, but I wouldn't put too much force on it, because whether you know or you don't, you're doing your work anyway if you're focusing on self. Because the whole thing with the twin flame union is we kind of trick ourselves a little bit, because we say we're working on ourselves, right? For the collective, all that stuff, but I want to be with my twin. But the thing that I say is it's a sobering reality we all have to come to, where it comes to our intentions, and we legit have to be honest with ourselves, not for anyone else, not for family, not for friends, not for anyone else, but legit just for you. And it's sitting down and having those honest conversations with yourself and saying, what am I really doing this for? Right? Is it just for the union? Is it just to be with this person? Right? And if so, then what? Once you're together, then what? Right? Some of the things I always say to look at before being so concerned with connecting with a person is, do you know you? And do you know you the best that you can possibly know you? Do you know your calling? Do you know your purpose? Do you know why you're here? Do you know who you're called to? Right? What does your soul burn for? What was your biggest wound? What was most of your lessons centralized around? As well as, is your person reflecting you in that sense? Are they on a journey? Are they self-aware? Right? Those are things that we want to focus on more than just being with the person, right? Because that's how we can kind of play hide and seek with ourselves, when the truth is that we're using this person from a distraction from our own healing, growth, and evolution. Is looking for them to fill a need within us. It's looking for them to stand as something for us to keep us from going within. You know what I'm saying? Whew, man, I could probably give you a whole list for dream books, man. I'm actually going to make a list. I'm trying to see if I have anything on my bookshelf right here. I don't think I have anything on my bookshelf right here. I'll make a list and I'll put it up. Now she's sending me on some soul journey. My twin is a narcissist diagnosed. Ooh, Lord have mercy. So I wonder if he is. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Nah. Narcissists, dude, that's a whole nother realm. And that's very much interlinked with spirituality. Like, that's a whole code and a whole program of the narc and codependent dynamic, and how that, like we say, as above, so below. The dynamic between narcissists and codependents, because it's not like two opposites, it's two extremes, right? The same thing. So when we think of as above, so below, that connection is reflective of something that happens daily in the ethers, which is something else I'm going to love talking about. Independent and true, every true self, they trigger to bring out. Yeah, dude, that's real. Facts. Sunflowers. I had past life memory last night and wondering what I was supposed to be. Oh, dang, reminded. Any recommendations on how to research this? Definitely. Well, one, I would suggest doing either hypnosis or past life regression, right? Because I know I did all my past life regression stuff when I was going through Reiki training, when I went into master level. But what I really do suggest, believe it or not, is simply just setting that intention and asking spirit to lead you to stuff, because that's legit. Like when I was going through this, I think the resources that are available now, I ain't had all that. All right. So it literally was, you know, me being like, look, I don't know what this is. I don't know how this works. I don't know how you're going to get the information to me, but if you can help a sister out, please, Lord, please. Okay. All right. And somehow I would stumble upon something. So even with my dreams, if there's a symbol I don't know, what I do is set an intention. I'm either just going to start journaling, or I'll just release it and go do something else, and I inadvertently end up getting led to it. How do you make it through the dark night of the soul without being a narcissist? You can't just become a narcissist. Narcissism is something that's set in your personality by the time you're about 6. And it's reconditioned by the dynamics within the family, you know? It's not like one of those things where, like, because when we talk about like nature versus nurture in like the scientific realm, that's narcissism isn't nature, it's nurture. So it's all about like the dynamics in the family that contribute to that. So being an adult, you won't just become a narcissist, because narcissism, being a personality disorder, it's inherent to the personality. The personality is set around 6 years old. That's the reason why we always talk about like childhood wounds. Because when we talk about childhood wounds in the sense of it being subconscious, AKA shadow, we're not talking about like you being, you know, 10, 11 years old and somebody stole your bike. Nah, like literally children from the time that they come out of the womb, they are molded to just absorb everything around them so they can know how to walk, talk, you know, eat, interact, engage. So they're just sucking in everything without a filter. That stops at 6, and a transition happens where the child becomes more aware, like it's self and then, you know, other and things of the sort, right? So a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with, we're talking about stuff you've absorbed from your environment, right? And we're speaking energetically here, right? So stuff you've absorbed from your environment or the dynamics within your family, not just by watching, but just by vibration. So this is stuff that's locked in your subconscious, and it's the program that you're living off of daily. It's the projection that you're putting on other people, right? That's why, like that old Zen quote, whatever you see in the other exists in you, because you couldn't see it if it didn't. And it's like consciously, I don't think like that. Well, I don't treat myself like that. Consciously, you don't. But subconsciously, that's a whole nother story. Have you ever used the app called The Pattern? No. What is that? That sounds cool. Dream vision boards work for, yes, they do. I love dream and vision boards. 2 people in my facts. Oh, man, what is going on with the chat? Oh, it did it again. Oh, there's something called parallel parenting. Danger, dude. Maybe you can join a club or a group of friends that have similar interests as you, Lego club, baseball, etc., and make friends with the kids so you have, oh, you're so cute. Keep America great. Download The Pattern. I'm going to write that down. They have a really great relationship app I wanted to share with you guys, where you can do different quizzes on your relationship to find out if there's any like toxic patterns in your relationship. I'm going to post that. Do you believe that you can communicate with others in dreams? Have you ever seen shadow people or light beings or astral project? Don't like astral projection because, you know, I might get lost. That's just my personality. I might be like shiny squirrel, as if my higher self was like that, but get lost. Yeah, I don't want nobody chilling in my body when I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? But there's some people, my bestie is one of those people where homegirl just be astral projecting and she don't even realize, she don't even know it. She just be astral projecting. So, but she's a Pisces, and you know, Pisces is weird like that. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding. You know, I love y'all. But with some people, it's a natural inclination to it. Now, communicating with other people in my dreams, yes, more people who have transitioned than like real people. But apparently, a lot of my subbies have sent me emails about this, and even my clients be dreaming about me, and I always show up like the same way. It's like something really chaotic happening, and I just show up, and I'm like, oh, where they at? Okay, here's the back door. Let's go. So people dream about me, but me, as far as people communicating with me in my dreams, nah. I've had friends who called out for help when they've been in really serious situations, like life or death type of stuff, and they've thought to not reach out to me. Like, kind of like when I was working on the book, I had friends who was going through buku serious stuff, and they were like, she's working on the book, I'm not going to reach out to her, and I would dream about them. But as far as just like talking to someone, nah, not people who are alive, unless they're in danger, I would say. But I do dream about people I know getting their business and things. I don't know if they're giving me permission to do that. I would like to think they are. And have I ever seen shadow people or light beings? I've seen shadow people. Light beings, I only saw one once in my life. I didn't know what it was at first, though. Oh, what is going on with this chat? Oh my goodness, it's just, look, she said shadow people, Chinese taco. Class assignment. Do you have any thought? Oh, good Lord. On adults parenting them. Why is it moving? Parenting themselves in the name of healing. I'm 100% with that. I am a self-compassion advocate, and we have to learn how to parent ourselves, especially when we had an emotionally unavailable parent, or in the event that we have a parent that either doesn't want to connect with us. Because, a lot of times, like, parents will hurt us, and our thought is, I'm on my healing journey. Let me go confront my parent. Most therapists will be like, hold on now, let's talk about this first. Before you do that, hold up. Because sometimes they'll deny, like if you had like a physically abusive, sometimes they'll deny it and you'll feel invalidated. Or if a parent has passed and you're doing your healing work after a parent has passed, a lot of times we have to go that way because, and even if our parents were willing to acknowledge, it's like you can't turn back the hands of time. So it's all about learning those self-soothing techniques. And those are all things that we're doing internally that we ultimately externalize. Because if we exhibit compassion to the self, like I know how to nurture myself, I know how to give compassion to myself. Thus, I know what that feels like. So I'm able to extend that to others. But if I ignore my feelings, like, when my body is saying you need to go to bed, you need to rest, and I'm like, nope. Work, I'm more likely to do the same thing with my partner. So I'm 100% for that, 110%. I believe my parents are both narcissists and they both did some crazy stuff. Oh my gosh, super great book. Oh, wait. I make all of my clients read this book who have had emotionally absent moms. Where is it at? I literally think the book is called The Emotionally Absent Mother. Legit. Where is it at? Right here. I don't know if you're, okay, here it is. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Wait, that's it. Whoa. That's it. They have a new edition that just came out. I recommend that to all of my clients. But that book is really good. Like most people who read it, just in the foreword, they're like, how does this lady know my whole life? But even with daddy issues, it helps so much because it pretty much is a very practical guide that walks you through like self-nurturing and self-parenting in like a very practical way. What happens when you go through an awakening? Whoa, I'm having deja vu right now, and that's so weird. What happens when you go through an awakening? I've been seeing 33 and 333 for over a year now. Oh, that's awesome. A lot of stuff happens when you're going through an awakening. You start questioning everything it is that you thought you knew. Because for me, it was me asking why I did certain things. It was like, why do I volunteer here? Or why do I believe that about people? You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't know if some people, mamas was like this, but, like you're young and you're like, oh, mom, this person does to me. It's like, oh, they jealous, And for me, even as a kid, it just didn't resonate with me. Like it just made me go like, So it's little things like that I questioned. And those questions just started getting deeper and deeper and deeper. where I started questioning a lot of things. It was like, even in church, it's like, why is it that, people are supposed to be changed, but I'm seeing people with the same issues that they had prior to. Well, what does change look like? Well, it's like, how are we transformed? You know what I'm saying? How do I really know that I am? So it's kind of almost literally awakening, in the sense like you're waking up, and it's realizing that so many things in your life you just accepted as truth. And for the first time, and what for some could be your entire life, you're starting to question what you never questioned. You know what I mean? Like, even like the flat earth epidemic, that would be a great example, because it's like, is the earth really flat? Like, how do we know? Have you ever been to space? I ain't never been to space. Why all the pictures of the earth look like that? You know what I'm saying? So it's little questions like that, like things that you just accepted as absolute truth without question are suddenly being questioned, right? That's what those beginning stages of awakening feels like, or is illustrated as, in a sense. But it's literally like, awakening is a perfect word, because it's literally like waking up. Like, you think about when you first wake up in the morning and you like, what day is it? What we doing? And then I have a funny video on Instagram about that too. What happens when you go through, oh wait, I already read that. Orbs, been seeing a lot of them. Please explain. It depends, man. Orbs is just energy. I know for mediums, they be knowing the different colors of them and things, but it's different energy bodies. I know that. I have to reach out about some professional things though. Oh, hit your girl up. What? Let's see. Our universe isn't the only one. That is also true. Did someone say not a troll? Did you transition from Christianity or a different religion? If so, did you have a disruptive or smooth? Very disruptive. Very disruptive. I left Christianity. And yeah, it was very disruptive. Very disruptive. That's kind of like what thrust me into my dark night of the soul, because, and that's why I love helping people who've gone through that, because dog, when you were someone who was in church, like, I mean, you didn't just go to church on holidays, or to make your parents happy. Like, I was in church, like committed, like, getting people saved, bringing people to Christ. Everybody around me is like, everybody going to church. It's Wednesday, we ain't going to the club, we going to Bible study. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those people. And it was my life. And to walk away from that, it was like my entire foundation being uprooted. And it's like instantly everything I was or thought I was came into question, which comes full circle today, because it leads me here, because I felt left out on both sides. It's like, I felt there was so much more, like there were pieces that were missing, but it's like, I can't say that out loud in church. They're going to call me demonic and say I'm a heretic. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, be quiet. But it's like, I just kind of like the same exact feeling that I felt leading into today is what I felt before I walked away from church. It was just this conviction. I could not, it was keeping me up at night. It was vexing me. So even though it was hard to walk away, and it literally uprooted everything that it is that I knew, because I didn't know how to move forward. I felt like, and that's the thing that I know a lot of people struggle with when they leave the church, is like, how do you live life now? You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, so we just don't have no rules. Like, we just spiritual. We just ain't got no rules. Like, we just going with it. We're going following the vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's the thing that's kind of missing, is in the sense of like principles for living. And I think it was Zig Ziglar. I think we just put a book out about this, about principles, but it's more or less for business. But it's very great information to apply to your life, because we need principles for living. We need guidelines. And that's just to help us. Knowing your personal philosophy, your personal values is not really so much of absorbing someone else's or aligning with someone else's. It's like your spirit knows the truth. It's like something that doesn't vibe with you. And it's like a feeling up in your gut where you're just like, trust the niggle. You know what I'm saying? And it's like kind of finding those things, but still needing to differentiate between if something is high vibrational or low vibrational, But I find that's the trouble a lot of people have in discerning things, is what side of the spectrum things have a tendency to fall on. But principles for living are super, super important. And I feel like when I left the church, I lost that. And that's why I felt so uprooted, because it's like, what do I do now? Where do I belong? Like, what am I without the church? You know? And that's not necessarily healthy. You know what I'm saying? What is a light being? Different people have different meanings for it. I would say it's like, some people look at it as archangel. Some people look at it as, to me, it's a higher vibrational frequency. Because I feel like everything it is that we personify, like even angels, it's like, it's a frequency in the ethereal realm. You know what I'm saying? And because we're human, it's like we understand ourselves in another. So it's like personifying frequencies helps us to understand. But it still goes into one of those things of not holding things too tightly, because we'll start to create something in our image. Because I always say that God created man creating God. But when we try to take something that's infinite, like God, and personify it, it's like everything you personify and bring in the 3D realm got to die. You know what I'm saying? So it's like starting to project human characteristics on the all. You know, the unknowable, the undefinable, the great mystery. You know what I mean? Are you? Oh God, it just jumped again. Why are they moving so fast? At what point in life, or how are people able to see spirits? I always meet someone who sees spirits. Not everyone does. Not everyone does. Kids usually can, because they're, you know, there's no blocks. But not every person can. I just saw LeBron, thought about basketball. Yeah, man. I feel like everybody has their flaws. But I think the saddest tragedy of all of that is it's so much wisdom that can be garnered from everyone. You know what I mean? And it's not about anybody being bad or judging anybody, because it's like, if you like it, I love it, you know? So I say our goal is never to want to judge people or say somebody's bad or somebody's wrong. It's like, I feel the way that we have to start learning to operate is understanding the other, as opposed to just wanting to separate and shun the other. You know what I mean? To make it the other, to subjugate it, you know, to degrade it, because that ties into inherent human worthlessness, you know? And it's like, some people will call that original sin, but it's the fact that on a core level, all of humanity is missing something, and everyone is searching for something to fill that void in their soul. And we use money, we use stuff, things, people. We use sexism, racism, classism to somehow get a sense of worth within ourselves, to say, well, at least I'm not them. You know what I mean? And it's a need to come out of that. But that's a byproduct of going through this ascension and aligning to a higher way of thinking, because you start to see how all of that stuff is so completely irrelevant. And you start to see how much of yourself you can see in another person. And it doesn't have to be about you being wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter to me what religion that you practice. I literally, like, to me, it doesn't matter one way or the other. I don't want to sway people into seeing the world the way that I do, because what's the fun in that? Why would I want to be surrounded around people who are just like me? Like, there's no fun in that. You know what I'm saying? And there's even a story in the Yoruba religion of the one of the Orishas, where it's one of the creation stories that say in the beginning, like, mankind was all equal. Everyone had the same amount of money. It was like communism, good communism. Well, there isn't really good communism, but you feel what I'm saying. But everybody was equal. Everyone had the same house, same amount of money. Everyone was equal. And the people got bored and they asked the Orishas to create difference because it was monotonous. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the opposite of us is necessary, because we can't know ourselves without being in the absence of ourselves. That's what this whole realm is about. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't know me without you because I need that contrast. So it's more or less changing our perspective on needing other people to be wrong and seeing how right they are and how right we can be at the same time. And it's like marrying, creating a bridge between those differences. And so the same, it's like we can interlink that into twin flames, to divine masculine and feminine energy of what all of this is about. It's that middle road between these two things that helps you to see that there's really not an other, right? It's just one of us in so many words. So can I like, oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know what just happened to now. Holy spiritual. Have you ever spoke to someone in your dreams and they let you know they were going to die? Oh yeah. That was my first experience when I was a kid, but I wouldn't sleep though. My uncle was like, bye. And I was like, bye. And then the next morning, my dad said he died. And I'm like, no, he didn't. He's in my room. Do you relate what? Oh, snap. Do you relate what you do to 1 Corinthians 14 in regards to healing with a prophetic gift? I would say yes, because the whole thing is that prophetic words are words that are supposed to admonish a person in the sense of supporting you, giving you hope for the future, right? It's not really so much in a sense of like fortune telling, right? But it's more or less giving you hope for a different tomorrow and tough times. And then when we talk about the prophetic gift on a bigger scale, right? Like talking about like biblical prophets and things like foretellers, mouthpiece of God level, because it's two different manifestations of the prophetic gift. Like you have the prophetic office, and then you have the gift of prophecy. And the gift of prophecy is more or less used on one-to-one to encourage the individual. And now the office is mouthpiece of God. So these are people who in the church will be someone who's talking about big shifts that are happening. And then if we would say like in a spiritual sense, it would be people who are talking about big energetic waves that are coming in. So it's like them sensing, like say, like we have the Sagittarius full moon energy and stuff. A person who has the gift of the prophetic, where they're mouthpiece of God in a sense, and that's just a nickname, is 6 months ago, they saw this coming and probably spoke out about it. And most people was like, okay, for sure. You know. And then, like I said, with me, it's like I'm in that one-to-one people type of way. It's because I want to encourage you. So it's me kind of attuning to a person's energy and seeing where it is that God is taking you and being able to bring that to you where you are now to give you hope to keep going. My daughter has a personality disorder and she has moved away from Christianity because she feels she doesn't belong. I asked her to learn about all religions to help her find a place. Oh, you're a great mom. I have to tell you that. You're a super dope mom for that. Hey, Asia, I was supposed to call you, but you know, life, things falling apart, my personal tower moment. Yes, it is all about balance. Do you see spirits? No, I don't really see spirits. I mean, I see spirits in people, if that makes sense. I see spirits in people. And I see, but it's like an energy. Like I could say spirits, but it's like a archetype to me. And I can see those in people, you know, but for stuff that I see, like with, you know, my human eyes and things of the sort, nah, I don't just see spirits just chilling. This channel has been deleted. Don't subscribe. That's a gangster name. Hey, my daughter, had died, and 2 months ago after I was laying down, but I saw a shadow form like walking. Oh, stop moving so fast. My wall was like forcing me to sleep. Aw. When you see my name, what is the first word that comes to mind? Mountains. I know my phone ain't telling me to go to bed. Better leave me alone, iPhone. Can I be a moderator? Of course you can. Ooh. Is that why I'm always feeling everything before the energy is supposed to happen? Yeah, a lot of us, everyone's gift is totally different. Oh, a spiritual being can feel the evil spirit. Oh yeah, man. But yeah, a lot of us do. And it's different people, like whether you're an empath or your gifts. Princess India's. Aw, thank you, Michael. I love your face. But everyone feels stuff differently. And I think the funny thing is about that is like a lot of times, and this is like a joke with me and my friends, it's like we'll be like feeling some type of way, and I'll be like, girl, I feel some type of way. And they'll be like, I feel some type of way too. Let's check the transits. And lo and behold, we do. It's like, oh, that's why. So it helps you to not like internalize stuff. And I think about all of the times like throughout my life, like I'd be having a super dope day and suddenly like for some reason at noon, I started feeling depression and we just take ownership of it. That's why I think like awareness of what's happening around us and the influences that these different energies have is so important. What does moon in Sagittarius even mean? Well, the full moon was in Sagittarius in this particular cycle, but it was something about it being in the 27th degree and something about some black hole or something that it was near, and that being like the vortex from whence thou come, and it being that way, it's almost like a reset button. So what the energy did is it brought all of us to our core truth. And that's why a lot of people felt like this breaking down, because this literally was like, if you think of the tarot card, the Tower, that's what this was energetically for a lot of us. Like it literally felt like a breakdown, but it was a breakdown to a breakthrough. Had to do that. Oh, man. Oh, snap. I hate it when I go through that. I call it my moment. Galactic Center. There you go. Make me sound smart. I was crying today. I was like, why? Oh, thank you, Q. Girl, and there was a kite, and next is the summer. Oh, yeah, dog. Then Mercury retrograde and all that good stuff. These energies. But this is all for a reason, because everybody was excited for 2020. But it's like, well, you got some hurdles to jump. What is the first step to find your purpose? Oh, I love talking about purpose. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. You don't have to find your purpose because you already have it with you. You already know it. And the truth is, it's all about your desires, your natural inclinations. I always tell people that your entire life, you've been leaving yourself breadcrumbs to let yourself know everything it is that you need to know to be the fullness of who you are. But it's looking backwards, meaning looking within or looking back at your life and your experience. Another thing is looking at what your greatest struggle or challenge was in your life, your greatest wound that you've overcome, and how you overcame that. That has a lot to do with the blueprint that you're here to teach other people, right? Because that's what gives everything that we go through a meaning. That's why it's so important for us to garner lessons and to not just be downtrodden and oppressed. Things are brought to us because we have the ability within us to overcome it. But a lot of times, because we're human, we allow circumstances to, overtake us, and we end up becoming victims to the circumstance. But it's really all about what it is that uniquely you have to offer based on your own life experience that only you can do in a way that only you can do it. Ooh, somebody got timed out. Was Jesus a man, a god, or an energetic essence? It depends on the individual. Each person believes something different. There's some people who say Jesus is an ascended master. There's some people who believe it's metaphysical in the sense of it's like an archetype, right? Some people say he was just a dude, right? Some people, like everyone says something different. But I think the most important thing to note about Jesus, whether you believe like Jesus is the Son of God or not, it's the simple fact that it can't be denied that this person is the you know, cut in between BC, before Christ, and good old Anno Domini, you know? And it's all about the representation, because even if a person is a believer, a lot of people who are believers don't attune into what all of this really represents, what dying really means, what all of that is symbolic of, right? So, in how I explain it to some people, in the sense of like, if we think about this, like if a person doesn't believe and you look at it as just like a frequency, it's just a simple fact. We're talking about our beliefs, what we believe about life in general, being what becomes our reality. So I always say, if you're ever like on the fence of believing or not, you know what I'm saying? Like for people who are going through crisis of faith, it's not really important whether or not he was or wasn't. It's just the simple fact, if you believe that a person died to make you inherently aligned with God and without sin, then what would be the harm in believing in that? I can tell you what the harm in that would be. And that's the Christ identity crisis. And that's when we try to understand spiritual things with the ego mind without purging the ego, right? Like strength card, not gaining dominion over the lower self. That's when you start interpreting like higher realm things in a two-dimensional way, like not 2D, but I mean like in the sense of like dyad, like very black and white. And you can't see the gray area in between. And then it just becomes us and them. We're good, they're bad. I'm saved, they're going to hell type of deal. When it's so much bigger than that. Because the whole purpose of what that symbolizes is, again, that path to ascension, that weight, you know, to the consciousness. Whoa, I blocked the scammer. They was in here trying to get y'all coins. There's another princess in the room. It's 3 a.m. here. And I sat outside and my cousin watching me. Aww. Shout out, Princess. Princess got chops. Why are you dropping knowledge here? I can't help it. I can't help it. I blocked my ex. Well, go ahead, butterfly girl. We cutting things loose. Dag nabbit, son of a gun. Oh, you're listening to the rain. It's been raining all day in NOLA too. Oh, thank you, James. I don't take pills. I smoke. Why would I want to kill myself with fake medication? I love me, myself, and I'm perfect for me. I don't need to change for nobody else but myself. All right, boo. All right, boo. I block back my ex because if he can, so do I. And I know he wants back. I saw a documentary about the lost scripts that were found about, oh, you talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls? I love the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Gospel of Thomas, man, that's my jam. Dude, let me tell you something. If you've never read the Bible and you are ever curious, I would definitely say to get a copy of the Gospel of Thomas. It fell off the bookshelf in Barnes and Nobles when I was in there one day years ago. And even still to this day, when I read it, it's just because like those Gospels, it's based on Gnostic Christianity, which is like a sect of Christianity that was pretty much like murdered out and put underground when, you know, Rome took over, you know, Christianity and aligned all of the teachings with the deities and the holidays and all that kind of stuff. And the Gnostic Christians, which are Christian mystics, so like people who followed Christ, who talked about, you know, ascension and all this other kind of stuff, they were kind of put underground and persecuted. So a lot of them were buried with these, and then they had them hidden in caves and stuff, and they ended up finding them. And it's different gospels that were not included with the whole Council of Nicaea thing. That's like pretty much the Bible that we use today. But the thing that I think is so compelling about those is there's no stories. It's just straight line for line quotes from Jesus. That's it. Like nothing else. It's not talking about miracles. It's not talking about the crucifixion. It's not talking about any of that. It's just literally, at least with the Gospel of Thomas, it's conversations between Thomas and Jesus, and Thomas picking Jesus's brain on different things. And the things that are said in there are so absolutely profound that my copy, I have notes all in the edges. And it's like, whoa, that's so deep. What, you know? And I know they have it at Barnes and Noble, but yeah, man, that's legit. How will you know you're going through the twin flame journey? You know, what's interesting, I feel like that's a catalyst. Like when you start asking questions like that, or you even get led to twin flames, it's like, it's almost being introduced to the twin flame journey is legit your sign that your awakening journey is beginning. So I would say just your simple asking of that question is sign enough. But oh, is it going to unfold into something greater than you could have ever fathomed? Have you read The Gift of Fear? I have not. Revelations, that is. I love Revelations, yo. Wait, what's the name of that again? Which thing? Chasing the goat into the caves. Girl, it's so refreshing hearing you drop in. Oh, and that's awesome. That makes me happy to hear. Do you follow the oh, dang it. Neville. No. Who is that? See, I got my notepad right here because I knew y'all was going to come with some gems too. Y'all know I like reading things. It's about to get so real, y'all. It's going to be so lit. What we going to be having woke parties. Talk about, ooh, we about to learn about this today. Oh, snap. Numerology. Oh, Grizzly. Yeah, that's my homeboy. Oh, GOAT. Greatest of all time. Y'all know I'm so lame. I'll be trying to get my slang up. Oh, you're so welcome, Lena. I can't even take credit for that, man, because I feel like Spirit took me to a cliff that they was like, jump off. Just jump off. Jump off the cliff. It's going to be all right. Felt like the fool in real life. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, dude. There's this book. Every time I find the meaning of life, they change. Is that really a book? Because, dog, that's probably the most realest statement I ever heard about life. That's where humility comes from, dude. Like, Socrates said this. The beginning of wisdom is admitting first that you know nothing. And that's why I say, like, what the high priestess symbolizes is knowing everything and nothing at the same time. That's the same way my gift works. I feel like I don't know jack until somebody asks me something, then I know. You know what I'm saying? But it's that connection. But it's like, it's symbolic of having that humility to say that I don't know everything. And anytime you ever get to a point where you think that you know, oh, I remember when I was there. Oh, I was that place in my process before. Oh, but I've evolved past that. Whenever somebody starts talking like that, you're asking for towers. You know what I'm saying? Because that means you got a little hardy-minded. You know, got to be a little humble right fast. So it's like enough of that happens to where it's like, you just like, look, you know, good, you know, and that again brings up that compassion. It's not necessarily about like, and that's why I say, I don't know why I keep being led back to this, the whole judgment thing, you know, of looking at people like, you know, they're not on my level, or, you know, their vibes are just like so low and like, you know, it's not that. That right there, any talk like that, you know what I'm saying? It's false piety. That's not what's hot in the streets. There's still some tower ego work got to be done. You know what I'm saying? But that's the posture to be in. Every time you find a meaning in life, because it will forever change, ever evolving, ever evolving. We're always ending exactly where it is that we begin and getting a whole new perception of what we thought we knew. Oh, Lord have mercy. I thought you said she had 32 kids. I was like, my God, how did she do that? Whew, I read that so wrong. I was like, 32? I pushed out one, but 31 more? Sorry. It's a good question. The part of the Bible. Goat teeth. Greatest of all time too. Seed of the Soul. Oh my gosh. Seed of the Soul is amazing. I love that book. I recommend that book. And Conversations with God. Conversations with God opens up your mind to the fluidity of spirituality. It completely changes your perspective on everything it is that you thought you knew. Yeah, man. Trust in the process for real. You're welcome, Nova. So if I say I wouldn't deal with my ex again because she isn't at my level, I'm asking for a lesson in humility. Well, it depends on how it is that we're saying that. Like saying in the sense of this person isn't aware or not in my level in like an egoic sense, or meaning that you guys aren't at the same understanding. Because it's all about your intention behind what it is that you're saying. Low vibe. Sips. This buddy. Trusting the process is real. Whoa. Whoa. Hey, Alexa. I missed your face. How can you decipher between 3D and 5D? Ooh. And actually taking signs from spirits rather than taking from fantasy and thinking fantasy and what spirit is trying to tell you? Well, see, Miss Porter, thing is here, this is why being in tune with your gift is so important, right? Because we can easily, like, that's a sticky realm. And the way that I always say, like, when we're trying to decipher between, like, just simply intuition in our own thoughts in our head, right? What we're really talking about is our thoughts are questions. Intuition is going to be a statement, right? Now, when you're talking about 5D stuff, this is when it gets into a whole nother philosophy, because it's like, when we're talking about 5D is not concerned with your love life. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Humans, us on this plane, we're concerned with love lives, but it's like spirit, and at least from my belief system, I can't say this for everyone. From my belief system, it's like the cosmos are not co-conspirating, you know, for people to just be in love, because it's so much bigger than that. Granted, two people can be in love and fulfill their purposes together and make it even more magnanimous. But when it comes to, thank you, Spirit, the differentiation for this would be, if what you're seeing or hearing in 5D is more intricately related to human, fleshy ego desires and not talking about unconditional love, like higher vibrational unconditional love, which is something I'm going to get into. If it's just strictly talking about your 3D desires, that's not something that's aligned with 5D, right? Because higher realms aren't going to speak about 3D desires. So something that would feel good to the physical body or to the ego. You feel what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. So, you know, anything that falls into, you know, fantasy is a good word for it. This journey through. So is it bad to avoid lower vibrational people? I don't think anything is bad, right? But avoiding low vibrational people, that's not bad if we say bad, because it's having boundaries. It's all about the fact of you allowing people to affect your space. But the thing we're really talking about here is intention, is being intentional with what you're saying, what you're speaking, what you're doing, and knowing the mindsets that are coming behind what it is that we're saying, right? Because we all jokingly say, like, because me and my friends, our joke word is, what is it? Folk. And that's fake woke for us, right? So we joke and say that, but it's not in the fact of like wanting to really demean people. And what I'm speaking to, like I said, it's a mindset and it's an intention behind what's being said. You know what I mean? If we say someone's beneath me, do you really mean that they're beneath you? Or is that just an empty word, right? If a person is lower vibe, like, what do you really mean by that? Like, are they really lower vibe? You know what I'm saying? Or is that a self-protective statement? Am I saying lower vibe because, you know, I'm trying to protect myself in some way? And it's not a thing about good or bad. It's all about you. Everything that we're saying, everything that we're doing, every behavior we're exhibiting is giving us hints, keys, and insights into our inner workings. And that's what this is all about. It's less about wanting to be a good girl or a good boy and do what's quote unquote right. It's about learning how to look at your patterns, to break those down, to understand what's right for you, what needs to be aligned, what needs to be tinkered with, and so on and so forth. Seek and ye shall find. Oh yeah. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Oh yeah, man. It is draining. And that's where I say it's a self-protection thing, in the sense of you have to protect your energy and not allow other people to affect you. That's also true, Jeannie. Yeah, dude, it is. Looking at our own patterns is hard. It really is. That's why I always say working with someone is good, because we always need that. Is hoopa socks? What's that? Oh, hippo socks. What are hippo socks? I want those because they sound awesome. Wait, oh, having the understanding can be something else to other people who do not judge anyone. But when people don't understand, they think you're strange or some kind of weird. Yeah, that's really what it is, goddess. It's like your discernment, you start to know when to engage and when not. Because a lot of times, like, because I know I was like that when I was like super Christian, and even like when I'm going through my spiritual path, it's like I felt like I had to be the evangelist. It's like, no, this is how you have to look at things. It's open your mind. Like I was like that. But now it's like, you know when to speak and when not. There's certain things you speak on, certain things you don't. You know what I'm saying? It's understanding everybody's on their own path. Everybody's doing things in their own time. And it's not for us to impede into another person's space and tell them what it is we think they need to know. Just like each one of y'all found me, it's like spirit allows our paths to cross, because each of us all possesses something that another could benefit from. But it's more or less being in a state of flow with spirit, so you know when to act and enact. And that's like the balance of that divine masculine and feminine. It's some people that will say things and you be like, and there's a meme about this. It was like when spirit tells you something about someone but they didn't ask, it is like Will Smith looking and then he turns his head. It's kind of like that. Why do you think have soulmates if 5D isn't concerned with love? 5D is concerned with love and agape love, because we got 3 different types of love. 2 versions of that love are human love, brotherly love, right? And then we have romantic love. Agape is God, right? Highest vibration of love. It's nothing wrong with having soulmates, twin flames, romantic relationships, husbands, wives, life partners, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like the spiritual realm isn't opposed to that because it's a human desire, right? But it's not just about getting you someone to be in love with. It's like, because if you think about this as a symbolic thing, a couple that are coming together on the premise of love would have to love themselves in order to truly love each other, to be a reflection of this love into the world. So we're talking about light work. If we're talking about spiritual work, it's like, what are you reflecting into the world? This is about collective, all of us benefiting from each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like, it's stressed so much about the personal healing journey when it comes to twin flames. But a lot of times, which is normal, we get caught up just into that romantic aspect, when in truth it's so much bigger than that. Because when you think about how excited you get about your own personal evolution, right? You think about being in love with someone who's just as passionate about their own personal evolution and journey. And then both of you having a passion for people and your mission, right? And wanting to give what it is that spirit has put in you out into the world. It's like, that's unfathomable. That's powerful. Like, that to me is the definition of a true power couple. It's not just about us having kissy face. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of laying yap. But it's thinking about two powerful spiritual beings living their truth together and impacting the world. Dude, that's on a whole nother level. But it's like anyone who is in situations like that or feels called or feels as if they're in relationships like that, that's what we're really talking about. We're talking about personal revolution. We're talking about a couple revolutionized that thus revolutionizes the rest of the world, standing as a testament of the balance between divine masculine and feminine within and then with each other. So we're able to see an example of how the divine works with us, co-creates with us, seeing the balance of yin and yang as above, so below in this couple, individually, collectively. It's like how we're reflecting the divine on earth. That's what those connections are all about. That's what's being facilitated, you know? And it's like that, we can't get to that if we don't get us on point first. You feel me? Not hell. Oh, Lord. Hey, Debbie. Now I want little Debbie's cakes. Chinese taco probably won't have any. I love Chinese taco. That's my bait. That's the resident bartender in the lives, giving everybody digital drinks. Oh, man. Yeah, man, like my daddy be saying, don't be a nickel out here looking for a dime. Oh, man. Reiki? Oh, Reiki, you mean? It's energy healing. Bongans. I love y'all. Y'all are so hilarious. Why, when you get the lesson and you're clear and then boom, you get triggered again? Because the key is to go into the trigger, because all of the gold exists behind the trigger. What wound is back there? Think about it like a tooth, and this is going to get really nasty. Think about when you have a tooth that has an abscess, right? If you don't know what an abscess is, it's when you have a cavity in your tooth and it's gotten so bad to where, and y'all gonna have to excuse me because it's about to get graphic, there's pus under your tooth, right? So like your gum line, there's like a pocket of pus that's under the tooth. When you get toothaches, that's what it is that's causing you pain. So anytime pressure is on it, it's hitting that little pocket of pus, right? This is triggering somebody, I feel it. But you hit that pocket of pus and it causes pain. And then the pus is trying to escape. So it's like it doesn't have anywhere to go. So it's causing pain in your mouth. For some, it can be completely unbearable, right? That's exactly what it is that we're talking about. Wait, the infection. Wait, did I trigger somebody in here? But that's the way that a trigger works. It's like the pain is a sign that something's wrong, like something's off kilter, you know? So it's like you want to get that looked at, because if you don't, then the infection can spread. If it continues to spread, it gets in your bloodstream and then it can kill you, you know? And it's the same thing with our psychological triggers. The key is to look at the trigger. It's like, okay, where was I? What was said? What happened? And I can share trigger worksheets with y'all, because this is a lot of work I do with my clients. I have like a whole little chart where we look at like a list of triggers. We look at the environment that you were in when you were triggered, what the person said, how you felt when that happened. What did it remind you of? What was your instant reaction, right? So the thought of like one of my triggers was whenever an authority figure would ask to talk to me, my instant thing was I did something wrong. And I would instantly become defensive and felt like I had to defend myself. And I was like, why the heck do I do that? Like, why do I always feel that? And it ended up going down all the way into a core belief of me feeling inherently wrong and the fear of a person in authority over me saying you're bad, you're wrong. Do you think you can have multiple twin flames in one lifetime? Well, y'all know me, I'd be extra objective with things. It in the classic sense, no, but it depends on how someone would look at the term twin flame. But by the, OG definition, no, because it would be the belief that you and the other are one and the same. And now I'm thinking about Erykah Badu. When do the classes start? ASAP. I gotta get to work and get some stuff out because I have to get my wisdom teeth pulled on the 8th of July. So I'm gonna be acting like I'm 5 years old because I don't do well with pain, y'all. I'd be extra dramatic like I'm dying, So I want to get some stuff out before I'm out for a week with that. But I have so much stuff I want to do. Like, y'all have no idea like how like I've been reinvigorated in life in so many ways, because it's like my mind instantly goes in 1,000 different directions of like all of the stuff that I want to share with y'all, because it's like, oh my gosh, we get to do this. Oh, we're gonna talk about that. I'm so excited. And when you have that but end up with the wrong person, will it drain and kill your spirit? I would say yes. That's how I was in my marriage. Like the only poem I wrote my entire marriage was called Bleached. And that's because that's how I felt. I felt like, and in the poem I say something like that. It's like finally knowing what it's like to be dead while you're still alive. Because I felt like my soul had been taken out of me, that my very existence, everything that I was, everything that I stood for was bleached. I felt completely faded as a being, as if the only thing that I was doing was operating on survival stuff, like as if I was on life support. It's just I'm breathing, I'm eating, just going through the motions, but I literally felt numbed out. So yes. And that's another spiritual exchange thing. Like when I talked about that whole archetypal symbolism between codependence and narcissistic people, is like they don't call them energy vamps for nothing. You know what I mean? And Spirit showed me a vision. Oh my gosh. It's like a little cartoon of people and seeing how it is that like people who are seeking validation get like love bombed by a narc. And it's like, oh my gosh, no one's ever paid attention like this to me. And because you're caught up in like a 7 of Cups kind of energy, because it's like, oh my gosh, someone's finally paying attention. Someone's validating me. It's like they're paying attention, right? It's almost like they're sticking a little straw in you and it's like sucking out your light. And it's because it's like, you're like a well of light. And if we put it in human design terms, it's people who are typically generators, right? So it's like you generate light into the world. So it's like you're an tapped resource. So it's like your light doesn't run out because that's what you're here to do. So for a person who doesn't have their own because they've snuffed it out, it's like they plug into you and they're siphoning your light, And the longer that you allow it to go on is the more that you start to lose this, like an energetic transfer. They're taking on your characteristics and you're taking on theirs. So it's like them creating you in their image. Now, if we got really deep with it, we would literally be talking about, and with like in the Bible, Jesus literally says this, but it's like the Antichrist spirit has already gone out into the world. Like that's in essence what narcissism is. It's pride. It's anti-Christ, right? Because Christ would be aligned with higher vibrational, unconditional love. This is the anti of that. So that's where that opposition comes from, because it's almost like a disdain. So again, as above, so below. It's that same like cosmic jerk that's going on with two people. You know, like those stories that we hear of battles between good and evil, right? That's in essence what relationships like that represent. Yeah, Mary. That's how, like, a lot, man, it started like that with me for young girls, because I always say to my clients, like, I ask you if you love yourself, you're gonna be like, of course I love myself. What you mean? Of course I love myself. I'm not out here, you know, hoeing and things. Yeah, I got a job. Like, that's what we think, but it's not really knowing what that is. And these are the questions that I ask, because I've had to ask this to myself. It's like, when we say you just gotta love yourself, what does that mean? What that look like? How do I do that? What's step number one? You know what I mean? What does it really truly mean to love oneself? Is it measurable? How can I tell if I love myself more or less than I did yesterday or a month ago or a year ago? These are things that sometimes we can't answer, right? There are answers to them, but it's the thing that, you know, self-love and self-worth, self-esteem, they've become so overused that they've become empty platitudes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I'm doing my inner work. What is inner work? What that look like? What the steps are of that? Can you show me how to do it? It's like, oh, you know, you just go within. How do you go within? Do you have the key to go within? Is there a door? What are we doing? You know? So those are like those super, super important things, because a lot of stuff that we thought we knew, we really don't. And then especially the way society conditions us, man. Society conditions us to believe that our worth and value is in other people's validation. And it's just not. I think it's cool how I don't even have to ask questions I don't even know how to ask are being asked and answered. Oh, that's awesome. Dog, that's gangster. Rinky. Is that like the ratchet Rinky? Look, giggle. You know that I'm about that life. I will start Rinky. The sacred art of twerking and Rinky. The ratchet Rinky. That's what we're gonna do at the bar later. What you doing, girl? Ranky, are you crazy? Where my sage at? Oh man, that's so funny. Y'all know I'm crazy. Oh, thank you. Man, buku classes. You hear me? Of course you can. The more moderators, the better. I love you all. Calling me a jerk, acting like I'm not here. The ratchet Reiki. Dog, that would be so dope. Oh man. I always say synchronicity is a spirit reminding you that you're a spirit being having a human experience. Have you ever seen the movie The Adjustment Bureau? No, I haven't, but I will look at it. I'm not good with like TV stuff. I only watch television one time a year, y'all, and that's when American Horror Story comes out, because that is like my favorite show. That's the only thing I will watch. I love you too, Lachey. Word, I'm gonna look it up. Do inner work. How? Is there like a door? Dude, these are literally questions I'll be asking. People could never answer my questions. I was like that in church too, because I was like, look, I need to understand this in a practical, tangible manner. You know what I'm saying? Origin. Oh, can I? Ooh, uh-oh. One question answered, please. Ooh, who is that? LeBron. You can ask me anything, LeBron. Were you born in Louisiana? Yes. Very proud, very proud. Louisiana girl. Hyoka is a trickster spirit, Native American term similar to Elegba, yeah, the Orisha pantheon. Yep, very true. Yeah. Really? That's their kryptonite? I didn't even know Hyokas had one. Hyokas are fascinating. And that's the thing I say, man. It's the same thing with Legba. Legba is Good old, Papa. Good old little Papa. Like fascinating figure. Because it understand, like that's why I love the Orisha. That's something else I want to look into too, because the multifaceted nature of the Orisha gives you a different dynamic of understanding things. Like with Papa, it's like seeing that trickster aspect, because it's like, and at least with the Orisha, that's like God's favorite, right? And it's because he's the catalyst to bring the truth out of man. So it's putting man in all these tricky situations so that their truth comes out in the choices that they make, right? Now, if we translate that into our Western aspect of like the concept we have of the devil, it completely changes things. You know what I mean? But I know it was the Dalai Lama who said that it's hard for people in the West to understand the fluidity. And I was like, I kind of feel like that's an insult, Dalai Lama, but all right, that's cool. To understand the fluidity of Eastern religion, because Eastern religion is based in like, feminine concepts and that gray area. And us looking at stuff black and white, it's hard to think of the yin and yang concept that in all good there is evil and in all evil there is good, because everything is working together. It doesn't make sense in and of itself in that very, just masculine 1 + 1 = 2 type of way. Inner work is all tears. Oh goodness, good night, Star. I know you gotta go to work. Yeah, y'all. I need to go eat something because I haven't eaten all day because I've been a nervous wreck. Yeah. Yeah. Did I always know? Nah. I would say when I was like a kid, I didn't. I didn't really understand what the heck was happening. I'm still gonna watch that. Yeah, I need to go eat. Y'all, I was so any advice on shyness? I'm still learning that myself. I was so nervous, y'all. Yeah, I was a nervous wreck today. Like I couldn't eat, couldn't do nothing. I didn't want to look at nothing. But I'm so excited, and I most certainly want to thank all of you guys. Thank you guys for your acceptance. Thank you guys for your understanding. Thank you guys for your support. Like, it does not go unappreciated. I want to go into those comments and answer each and every one of you, and I'm going to attempt to do that tonight while I have something hanging out of my mouth, But I tried to eat a bologna sandwich yesterday, and it made me nauseous, which is unusual because I love bologna. So I don't know if there's something else going on with this whole transition thing where it's going to make me start eating healthy stuff. We're going to find out today, though. I'm going to go stick something fried in my mouth. Going to try it out. Thank you so much, y'all. Transcendental meditation. I love transcendental meditation. My good old boy Yogananda speaks a lot about that. But I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys for being here with me. This is not going to be something that is a foreign concept. I thank you guys for your acceptance, for your support, for everything. Everyone who put some dollars in the little super chat, I'm thankful for you. But this will most certainly not be the last time. It's about to get real in the battlefield. Narcissist. Look up the guy who wrote Malignant Self-Love. He's a self-aware narcissist, and he pretty much explains what the highest functioning way of narcissism looks like. And he's very candid and honest about it. Like, dude is a narc expert, and he got a girlfriend, and she explains how she loves the narcissist, and I'm just like, so much of that wants me to just pick that apart. Oh, yay, Christina. Thank you. Night giggle glamour. I'm jealous that you're in Miami and stuff, and I'm just here without no beaches and things. I just got Mississippi River water. whatnot, you know. Oh, thank you. Said words. Why is it a he? Ooh, let's trade. Girl, we could trade all day. Best believe. I wouldn't get no work done. I would just be on the beach all day, every day. I'll be like, oh, we got a meeting. Let's have your session on the beach. Shall we? Oh, man. Oh, hey, the Netherlands. Oh, I won't. I wrote it down. I'm going to go look. A cup of coffee. Coffee helps me go to sleep at night. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love you guys' faces. Oh, somebody got my last name up in here. Mississippi. We might be related. Wait a minute. Love your face, guys. Australia. I swear I lived there in a past life because I'm so obsessed with Australia and with Britain. I love you guys. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. What time is it, y'all? Oh, 9:46. Goodness gracious. I'm going to let y'all go. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you again. This will not be the last time. Love your freaking faces. 10:46. Ooh. Old people bedtime. Giggle. I love that face. I love your face. Oh, man. Open mindlessness. Wait. I'm just asking if it's possible for them to change. Would they have to? Nah. It's hard for narcissists to change because it's inherent to the personality. And in order for that to be different, the person would have a different personality. And we can't, like, and this is literally just therapeutically speaking, you can't unhinge a personality because the disorder or the abnormality is in the structure of the personality. So no. So with a narcissist and looking at it in a very benign kind of way is like, they're not bad, evil, wrong. It's just the way that they operate and the way that they see the world doesn't necessarily benefit everyone else. But it's not that they're like the devil per se. You know what I'm saying? It's not that they're like the devil. It's just they maneuver differently. And, you know, it's kind of like with me being, you know, like my personality type, I'm an INFJ. Like I can't change that. Like that's just me. You know, I can work and strengthen different areas, but for the most part, that's going to be my natural like ground to operate from. So with narcissists, all of the traits that they have that make up what we call personality disorder, and it's only because it's an abnormal construction of the psychology, and we say abnormal because it's a smaller facet of the overall population, but it's just a list of traits that we slap a name on. But because of those traits and the way that their psychology is set up, that's inherently like their type, right? Can they wake up narcissists? What? My narcissist once said all women are like prostitutes. Lord mercy. See, it's that mindset. It's a lack there of fluidity and everything. It's like they're kind of like the axis upon which everything revolves. And it's just the inclination is very self-preservation. So it's difficult. I can't say that it could never possibly happen, but really, nah. Because the way that I would say this and how I describe it is, for me, when you're a narcissist, you're the god of your own life, right? Meaning I have dominion and control over everyone around me because I'm beast mode at manipulating. I don't feel any type of like guilt. You know what I'm saying? Get it how you live. You know what I'm saying? So why would I ever want to step down as the god of my own life and be like, in narcissist terms, a mere mortal human, right? When you have so much control. So that's the issue that they're really struggling with, is because it's possible, but it's so much humility, because it's like it's so much control that you're relinquishing. And I always say you have to think devil's advocate when you're thinking about like empathizing to see it from this person's shoes. Why would you want to step down as the god of your own life when you have an advantage over everyone else with you being able to manipulate and control people? It's like it's harder for a person like that to want to talk about submitting to something outside of them. That's why they call it the God complex. Yeah, man. There's that narcissism. That's something a lot of people don't look into. Narcissism in alignment with spirituality, whether it's Christianity or any type of spirituality, that's the ideal place for a narc to be. Like, so ideal. That's so bananas, man. Yeah. And the thing I say, it's a defect in how the personality is set up, because it's a lack thereof of empathy or being able to align oneself with the other. Yeah, man. I think we all have a chance. We all have a chance. But there's some people, and that's getting into Christianese a little bit, but there's some people who can get to a point in a spiritual sense where it goes from just a spirit of pride to like an oppression. Like, and this is something I've talked about in my twin flame group, Leviathan. So where that's when you get the scales on your eyes and you can't see. That's why they say pride comes before a fall, because you're so blind by your pride, you know? But a person can get knocked down, but pride can creep back in and make you get back up and rebuild the same tower. You know? But y'all getting me fired up talking about this. Y'all know I like these conversations and things. You know? But let me get up off of here before my son is screaming playing Fortnite, y'all. I don't even know what noise is coming out of him right now. But it sounds so strange. Yes, and I'm gonna go eat. But I love you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out. Y'all are dope. Beautiful people. So I'll see you guys sooner than later. Thank you for loving me. Let me stop being silly. Good night, guys. I love your faces.